Testing 1 2 3. Hello. Assalamualaikum and a good day. Today, I'll be talking just some basic idea what is tech versus ROTEM lah. It can be asked in mostly they will ask in MCQ or SBA. In our last MCQ SBA, they got asked this tech versus ROTEM question. So I'll go to the example later. So what is tag or ROTEM? It's basically is tag is thromboelastogram, while ROTEM is rotational thromboelastometry. Basically, it's only the different way of assessing. Uh, I mean, it's a way of assessing the blood clotting. The difference is just which bit that rotates. So tag uses cup, while ROTEM uses spin to that rotates to assess the. It's a qualitative assessment of the blood clotting lah. So basically you will get same shape, only differs in the nomenclature that I'll talk about later. So what it shows is the interaction of platelet with the coagulation cascade lah. Will show you the qualitative parts of the coagulation from aggregation, clot strengthening, fibrin cross linking, and at the end is fibrinolysis. So just some rough idea. This is how it looks like. So there are two parts of it, the coagulation part and the fibrinolysis part. So at the beginning here is when the clot starts to form, and as it reaches the maximum clotting firmness, it will either go into lysis or it will stay that way. Okay, this is just some idea how it looks like. So we go into detail. This blue line, you can have different shapes of tag or ROTEM. The more it curve outward, the more hypercoagulable it is, but the more so the more narrow it is more hypocoagulable. Okay, so we go into detail. So you have the red, all this red is in is for ROTEM, while the blue one is the nomenclature for tag. Okay, so for ROTEM we have clotting time, we have clot formation time, we have A5, A10, we have the maximum clot firmness, and we have lysis 60. Meanwhile, the different name for the same thing in tag is this, what we call as reaction time or R time, which is similar to clotting time. And then we have this K time, we have the alpha angle. Instead of we call maximum clot firmness for ROTEM, in tag we call it maximum amplitude. Okay, and then at the end here we have this lysis 30, which is lysis after 30 minutes. So you see at the beginning here, this is the time for the start of clot, for the clotting to start to occur. So that is what we call as reaction time. and then the time as it builds up on the intensity of clotting is the K time of or the alpha angle, and then the plateau of it is what we call as maximum amplitude, and as it start to lyse we call it lysis 30. This is after maximum amplitude it start to break down. Okay, so how to make sense of all this is basically we, as I mentioned earlier, divide into either clot initiation, clot kinetics, clot strength, or clot stability. So the R time it refers to the clot initiation, as you see earlier, right? The time when it starts to for the clot to start occur. So if there's any prolongation of the R time, what it just means is there's some problem with the coagulation factors. There's an easier way to remember. I'll show you later. So basically it refers, most of the time if there's problem with this R time, we give FFP. Then we move on to the clot kinetics. It's the K time for TAC or clot formation time for a ROTEM. So this refers to a problem with fibrinogen if it takes very long time to take. So if there's any problem with the K time or alpha angle, it refers to the need to give patient cryoprecipitate. And then we move on to the clot strength. That is the peak of it. That's the plateau, the maximum amplitude, the maximum of clot firmness for ROTEM. This is problem with platelet. So any issues with the maximum amplitude, it refers that there's a need to give platelet for the patient. And then we move on to the lysis part. It refers to the stability. So for TAC is lysis 30, ROTEM we use lysis 60 or maximum lysis during runtime. So this all refers to problem with fibrinolytic enzyme, which means that there's a need to give tranexamic acid to the patient. So how to remember all this and how to make sense? In the past year paper in our SPA, they got give one of the question they ask, they give some scenario in polytrauma, and then they give the ROTEM value. They give R time, K time, maximum amplitude, lysis 30. Of course they also give the normal value for all this, and the question goes as which is the most appropriate blood product to transfuse. Okay, so how do I remember this? That's actually very simplistic way to remember. You just imagine, just draw a line like this, so then the shape is like that, continue until like that. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I tend to remember easier for TAC. So we use TAC. This is the first thing that occur here is the R time. R time is the first to occur. First is F. F is FFP lah. Then you have this alpha angle or the K time. This the way I remember is you just see this. This looks, the shape looks like C. C is meaning sayo. Okay. No need to bother so much about A5, A10. So we go to maximum amplitude. Maximum amplitude, this is the maximum, which is the plateau. Plateau is P. P is it means that you need to give platelet. And then you have this lysis 30. This is the time that it start to break down, 30 minutes after the maximum clotting. So 30 is T. T is tranexamic acid. That's how I remember. Does it make sense? So remember, the R time is the first thing that occur. F first is F. F is FFP. Then the alpha angle, K time. The shape looks like C. C is for cryo. And then the plateau, maximum amplitude is the plateau. Plateau is P. P is platelet. And then lysis 30 T, tranexamic acid lah. Okay, hope that helps. Later I'll add on our ROTEM images so that you can make sense of it. Today, just to continue with example that we have here, our patient's ROTEM. Basically, it's more of a pattern recognition. If you've seen a lot, then you'll know certain pattern reflects what's the problem. We just go with the normal ROTEM first. Here, where is my pen? Okay. So here, the clotting time or the R time is normal as indicated here. And then we go to the alpha angle or the K time, which is also normal. And then we go on to the maximum clotting firmness or the maximum amplitude. This is ROTEM, so it's using MCF, which also normal. Just ignore the A5, A10, which is a bit more complicated. Okay, hope that helps. Any question can just email me. Thank you.